whole point of the frame is to try and frame it in a way that it suits your world or something. So if someone tries to say that, set the frame, oh, you're a bum, you stink, or whatever, you say, well, at least I had a shower yesterday. Look at you. Or you say like you change the situation, or you change the situation. Why are you asking about that? What happened to you today? You have to try and sort of reverse the situation. Are you saying that whoever gets defensive and accepts the situation as it is loses the frame, and then that person has the power in the interaction?
Yes, in a way, absolutely. And what I want to clarify here is that we're discussing frame of one against another. And I
Yeah.
think that's a mistake that unluckily happens often because there is not much information about frames and not much good information. And every time it ends up being about whose frame wins, who dominates, me against you, right? I hold the frame, my frame is stronger. It doesn't have to be that way. Actually, the best frame, the best relationship are more collaborative, right? Let's find a way to add value to each other. Let's find a way to negotiate for win-win. I understand that with hecklers, it doesn't end up being like that often, right? Often
No.
it's more my frame against yours, who one-ups each other. However, that doesn't mean that sometimes you cannot find a way to vibe with the heckler and have a good back and forth, which is win-win, right? So let's not preclude the
Yes.
possibility of building something together because sometimes it could end up being something beautiful.
And I think that's probably a big problem with a lot of us as individuals. We try and have power in the other way. We don't think. I think the biggest thing is not most of us don't see the other side, and we don't see a situation where we can both benefit. We just think of ourselves, and we don't think of,
Yes.
because if they say in what's it called, the Dale Carnegie or as Andrew Carnegie book, he says if you feel power, you make someone feel low, they're going to resent you, and you've created sort of an enemy for a while.
True. True. Yeah, very true. Yes. There are exceptions even there, I think it's called the Stockholm syndrome, right? So sometimes if you overpower somebody or dominate somebody, they'll start liking you because humans are also like that. But many times it's like you say, yes, if you overpower people, then likely they'll start to resent you. To go back to an example, right, where you can use win-win, if somebody makes a joke about your mothers and, if you're cool with it, if you don't take it personally too much, which I think generally is a good idea, not to take things too much personally, then you could just say, how was she, man? Just throw something back at him, see what he comes up with it, and maybe you can build something cool together.
And then it's more positive, like she's been beating me for the last week.
Yeah, you can end up in this all sort of cool ways and all sort of nice situation that you hadn't even thought about it. And by the way, in case he cannot come back with anything cool, then the heckler has been neutralized anyway, right? And then you can take it back and build back up, or you can bridge back to the material you had prepared.
Yeah, and that's and how do you sort of in a situation go about, because sometimes when you go around looking for collaboration, trying to portray empathy and trying to win both sides, people see that as a sign of weakness and they sort of topple over you. How do you be firm but fair and try and create a right situation?
Mhm. I think a lot depends how people perceive you. If people perceive you as weak and then you're trying to collaborate, then yes, people might see that as a sign of weakness. If people perceive you as a strong individual who's centered, who's got good self-esteem, good confidence, and you try to go collaborative, then people are far more likely to see that as the guy who's passing a hand up rather than being weak. I call this principle mixing power with warmth, so that, if you're only warm, then it's like you say, people might perceive it as a sign of weakness. If you are perceived, if you act high power plus warm, then that's a great place to be in, and people are more likely to perceive your collaboration as something good for them as well and something magnanimous rather than weak.